completed the greatest season in NFL history.
Larry Zonka was the game's most valuable player, rushing for 145 yards and scoring 2 touchdowns.
Now he hands off to Zonk, heading right side. Touchdown, Larry Zonka. His second touchdown of the afternoon. And the Dolphins, if they hadn't already, have now established clear superiority in this game.
At the end of Super Bowl VIII, Coach Shula called a few of us off. I went toward the bench, and Don Shula came over and gave me a big hug. That was the perfect ending to a nearly perfect day.
48 touchdowns in that era, that time, is still remarkable. And the fact that it lasted for 20 years really didn't even get sniffed.
Defensively, I thought the guys played hard. They made some stops. I thought they played hard. I thought we tackled, fairly well. Thought we defended the deep part of the field well. We got they made some plays as well. They got good players. And offensively, we just, we didn't get anything going. We turned the ball over. We got to do a better job offensively and really collectively as a team. We'll just come back to work. Tomorrow we'll come in, we'll make the corrections on today's film. We'll come back Wednesday. I thought we had a better week of practice, but, at the end of the day, it's about our production in games. So come back, we'll go to work, we'll make the corrections, we'll get better, we'll improve. It's disappointing. Those guys are disappointed. They work hard. They put in a lot of work, but we just gotta, we gotta play better. That's disappointing. There were some drops out there, some plays we could have made. We left some yards out there. I think we know that. The good thing is that we had opportunities. We gotta capitalize. We gotta capitalize on those opportunities. They don't show up often. We have to make plays when they're presented. And I think we'll do that. I think we'll improve. We'll get better. We have some guys. I believe in our players. I believe they'll make those plays. I know they're disappointed that they didn't. But it wasn't one guy. It was us as a collective group. We got to do a better job of, as a staff, of getting them in position to make more of those plays. So the missed opportunities, they're there. Everybody can see them. We just got to do a better job.
I wasn't depressed yesterday when the Dolphins lost because I expected it. But I was depressed when I heard the news of Ric Ocasek passing away. Good afternoon, boys and girls, and we are ready to rock and roll, coming to you live from Hialeah Park, as we always do. We'll be back here on Friday, actually, because this past Friday we had a little technical snafu. So we're back here on a beautiful Monday, a Dolphins crying towel Monday. Although, it's funny because there's a guy sends me a tweet and he goes, Big O, if we keep trading away talent and we're left with no names, that means we have to hit at least 5 starters in the 2020 draft, then go out and sign 3 to 5 starters in free agency. The team has to keep some players. Fitzpatrick, Howard are too good to trade away for picks. Now, for those of you that are complaining, I just want you to know, okay, that they traded away a 6-win team. Okay? Remember that. They traded away a 6-win team. It's not like it's not like it's the 97 championship team and then there's a fire sale. Okay? And we're all sitting there going, well, wait a minute, dude. Lou and Sheffield and all these guys can come back and defend our title. Don't sell them off. You can overreact then. Okay? Back in 97, you want to bitch about 98? Go for it. Okay? But when I hear a Dolphins fan complaining about trading away players from a team that never gets to the playoffs, what the hell's wrong with you? Are you thinking? It's just it's like, I just got one, well, we shouldn't have let go of Tunsil. We need him for Tua. Well, first of all, sir, Tua's a left-handed quarterback, so the right tackle might be more important if you really are drafting Tua. We have no idea if Tua's going to stay, going to go. We have no idea. What if he blows out his knee? What about if he throws 400 interceptions? What is it, Los? He what? Oh, yeah, right. Maybe they're not convinced. Maybe they're convinced more with the Herbert guy from Oregon, which I'm not, but I'm just saying nobody really knows yet. I mean, Trevor Lawrence hasn't started off really well. He's got 5 interceptions already. He threw a really ugly interception in that game yesterday. I mean, it was one that was like...
Oh, the one that Syracuse did nothing with and gave the ball right back.
Well, but it's Syracuse.
Inside the red.
But
inside the red zone, yeah, that was a bad mistake.
Yeah, but Clemson's so good. It's like the Canes back in the day that they could commit a penalty, make a mistake or two, and it didn't matter. They were going to overcome it because they were so much better than everybody else.
The next play, they turned it over, and I think it was 2 or 3 plays later they had the 80-something yard screen pass.
Right, exactly. Clemson is just at another level than everybody else. But go ahead. What were you going to say, Los? Turn him on there.
He's one of those guys where he could throw one, and it's awful, and he just shakes it off. It's like, okay, I'll just get you back.
Oh, Lawrence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lawrence is one of those dudes. They were like, all of a sudden, he just threw one. Like, that one got away from me. And then he'll just come right back out and throw down like a 70-yard bomb.
He's sunshine.
There are certain guys who can kind of just shake off the mistake. And it's like, that's just one mistake.
He's
I'm not
cool
gonna
like sunshine.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the difference between him and, say, Williams for us. Like, Williams for us is starting to learn to be that kind of guy. Where, okay, shake that off, get back out there, and go get me like another 30 yards.
And he laugh at the writers writing about, oh, this is so bad. How can the Dolphins do this? How can the Dolphins do that? It's, again, and this is why I'm here for you, Dolphin Nation. Okay? I'm here for you every day, all right? I'm here for you every night. I'm here for you every Sunday. Okay, I'm here to help you get through this terrible time right now.
Talk them off the ledge.
Talk them off the ledge. Sit them on the couch. Chill out. Explain that this is a good thing. Okay? Writers that want you to keep a couple guys so they can win 5 or 6 games, I don't need those writers. Okay? They're not Dolphin fans. They don't care about the team. And TV talking heads, oh, this is insulting. So, that's all. You don't want to be here? Gone. But the beauty, like I told you in yesterday's podcast, which we talked about this before it all broke out nationally, by the way, just like we broke the Kiko Alonso trade before it became nationally here on our show before everybody else, just so you'll know. So not only do you get great insight on the team here, you know, every once in a while, we're going to give you some breaking news. Listen, the Dolphins are going to trade him, but they're going to trade him on their terms. Some guy complained to me about Tunsil, and it's, you know, it's if you pass up that Tunsil deal, you deserve to get punched in the face and fired. Okay? I mean, they offer you 2 first-rounders a second, and they're taking $8 million off your cap. Go for it, bro. Here. Go. Take it. And you know what's my favorite part is? Well, there's all these picks, but we don't know if Chris Greer can make those. Well, he made the pick of Tunsil, moron. He made the pick of X. He made the pick of Jakeem Grant. He made the pick of all these other guys that he's hit. I've already got it. First 3 drafts he's done, he's hit on 10 picks. That's 3.3 players per draft. You hit on 3 or 4 of your 7 picks every year, you're good. So he finds players. Hey, Devontae Parker's not his guy, but I want to see more Preston Williams. Gesicki's his guy, which, by the way, Gesicki has played better the first 2 games compared to last year, correct? But Gesicki's struggling, so he finds Nick O'Leary, who's a solid football player and can help you out. He drafts Kenyon Drake and Kalen Ballage, who are good considering where they were drafted, and they've been productive overall. Wish Ballage would have held on to that ball yesterday, but overall, Ballage has done a nice job, and so has Drake. But he finds Mark Walton, and now you're 3 deep. And even the White Wonder actually looks good too. But you're 3 deep now, not that they're shopping Drake, but if you want to move Drake, you can move him now. So the guy is the right guy. The most insulting thing is Chris Greer's the guy that got rid of all the contracts. Chris Greer's the guy that traded Tannehill. Somebody actually traded for Tannehill and took his salary, and he got a 4th rounder in return for it, which is a miracle. He's the guy that gets a wealth of picks for Tunsil, a better trade than Oakland for Khalil Mack. I just want to remind you of that, okay? Chicago gave up less for a much better player. Because Tunsil's good. Khalil Mack is great. There's a difference. Tunsil's nowhere near great yet. He might be one day. He might be a Pro Bowler. Khalil Mack is, I don't know, one of the 10, 15 best players in the NFL. Not defensive players, players in the NFL. I don't know where you want to put him, number 5, number 10, number 50. He's somewhere in there. He's a game-changing franchise player. Laramie Tunsil's not turned into a game-changing franchise player. He signs McCain ahead of time. He signs Jakeem Grant ahead of time. He signs X ahead of time. He does all these things that no other GM has done in the past. Yet some of you morons out there, you keep saying, well, he was part of the past. They didn't listen to him. If they would have listened to him, he would have told them, hey, you need to tear this bitch down. You guys keep buying free agents and doing stupid-ass crap. He doesn't do it. And all the GMs in the past waited till guys got to free agency. This guy doesn't. This guy gets you before free agency so he can make some money, so he can save some money, have some extra money on the cap. I mean, all the things that this guy does, and then he has stockpiled the team with 13 picks, and some of you out there, you want to pick somebody else to do the work that he has set everybody up with. Listen, like I said in earlier podcasts, the Cubs lost 100 games and then 80-something with Theo and then won a championship. The Sixers were bad for like 4 years, and basketball and football are different. You only need a couple. But for 4 years, the Sixers were losing, and they were the worst team in the league for 80 games. I'm telling you, the Dolphins are going to be the worst team in the league for 32. 16 this year, 16 next year. That's it. After that, years 3 and 4, we're going to be really enjoying football down here.
Houston's another one. They were in the tank. They had all the picks.
The Astros, that's right. They reset. Nobody's done it in football since maybe Jimmy Johnson in Dallas. And that was kind of, it wasn't like, because he inherited a really bad team that won, I think, 4 games the year before, and then they won 1 because he tore down what was left. But he was smart to just tear down what was left. And then they ended up with Aikman and Walsh and everything else, and the rest is history. In modern-day football, nobody's done this lately. But they've done it in basketball. They've done it in baseball. So I'm sorry if it pisses you guys off that you want back your 6 and 8 win team. That's what I love about you people out there. Is that what you want back? You want back a 6 and 8 win team? This is their best chance to reset and get a fresh start, where Dolphin fans now get to see a team grow right from the bottom up.
I don't know about that, because the Rams were in the toilet for a while, and then they restocked, and it became...
Are you talking about the Kurt Warner stuff?
No, like right now. Like, the Rams team that's now is a Rams team that year by year, like, they went down in the toilet, then they got Gurley, and they got their guys.
Right, but
then another set.
But they didn't do it on purpose. It was just incompetence that kept them down, and they kept getting
No, I mean, they got rid of a bunch of guys, and then eventually, and eventually...
But not like this. Not like this.
The end of Jeff Fisher, they were falling by the... They were on their down.
That was
Seahawks, the same deal, like when Carroll comes in.
But the Fisher stuff was incompetence. It wasn't... This is systematically planned. There's a difference. This is systematically. I mean, Los, this is one off season. Nobody's done this. Where in one off season they say, here's the eraser. It's all gone. It's all gone.
Yeah, everything.
It's
Seattle was another one.
it's
Seattle, like
it's
they moved on, and then Fisher comes. I'm not Fisher. Carroll comes in, and then Carroll like gets rid of. In other
Schneider
words,
and
every
Carroll,
one of those, every one of those, the new guy came in, and he just like, okay, I don't need this guy, I don't want this guy, and then just did it himself.
There's a little bit of a reset. You are correct. I'm not going to argue.
The Cardinals right now kind of do the same deal,
but it's also led from incompetence. It's not really. This is planned. This is, hey.
Well, this is a new guy wanting his new team. Yeah.
Exactly. This is Chris Greer taking, okay, this is my team finally now. This is how you're supposed to do it. And wham. And he did it.
I mean, if you want the textbook, it's the Patriots themselves, because Parcells gets there. Parcells just, boom, clean that house.
He did
started
clean that
from
house.
scratch and just built up his own thing. And
but in modern-day football, in the last 20
Belichick
years.
has maintained the thing that he started off.
Hell,
that's freakish.
Hell, he trades Law the week before the season starts, and he trades him to the team they're going to open the season against Buffalo.
He trades anybody and everybody, bro.
Yeah.
Logan Mankins, and he'll trade the guy he traded to the Raiders, the big defensive lineman. He was a hell of a player, and he's like, yeah, we don't need him, and we could just move on.
Pretty much when you get a new guy is if he's not taking over something that's already running, he's just going to hit the reset button and start from scratch.
But like this, it's never been done, but it needed. I had a saying for many years while I was at QAM that the Dolphins needed this. Those of you that are hardcore, I'm going to give you the two words, and you're going to go, oh, yeah, you used to say that all the time, organizational enema. Okay? I said that for 15 years. I have said the Dolphins needed an organizational enema. That's exactly what Chris Greer did.
It's a hardcore reset. I mean,
I love
how
it.
empty.
I'm so excited about
It's amazing in 1 year.
I'm so excited about this. I really am, dude. I like, hey, Jerome Baker, I thought played well yesterday. I thought Josh Rosen had some moments, man. He made some passes yesterday that if Balaj holds on to the crossing route, Jakeem holds on to the deep ball, and Davante holds on to the deep ball, that's 100+ yards right there, and maybe a touchdown. I thought he played well. There were some. That's what I liked about yesterday. There were some young guys that performed, and that's what I'm looking at. I don't care about the score. I'm not worried about the wins. I'm not worried about the losses. None of that is phasing me. None of that is affecting me whatsoever.
But if Rosen makes those plays, we're probably
he made the plays.
Okay, yeah, okay.
No, he made the plays.
Okay, if they get completed and it goes all the way through and it's on the stat sheet, okay, we're probably pushing for him to be the starter.
Well, they are
this
already.
week. Yeah,
they are already.
But we got to hold those reins back.
I still think you don't start him. I still think you start Fitz, and you know what?
Fitz is doing fine. Fitz is, I mean, there's only so much that he could do, right?
Right.
But he's fine.
But Rosen showed you a little more yesterday.
It's not like he's sitting here and he's zinging like interceptions left and right. Like he's running for his life.
What I do with Rosen now is I'd have him play the third and fourth quarters now for the next 2 weeks, and then comes the benching of Fitz. And then he gets ready for Washington in week 6.
By the way, they only got smoked in the fourth quarter. For 3 quarters, they were in that game.
Yeah, no, the defense actually played well.
They held up. It's just like they ran out of gas at the end. And, they got lit up.
Back-to-back pick sixes will do that to you.
Yeah, it's like some guys like, well, if we do this, we're going to lose the game. And I'm like, so you think they have talent to win? And then he had no answer for that because then everybody else was laughing at him. And on Twitter, it's like, they don't have talent to win, folks. So stop with that already. Stop trying to convince yourself this is a terrible football team. It's extremely young. You cannot be this young in football. It's not a good thing in football.
Across the board, 11 guys on the you can't. No,
bro. You cannot get away with it in this league. You're not physically ready for it. You're not mentally ready for it. And you don't have the experience for it. It's a really difficult situation for them to be in. But it is what it is. And for those of you that say you can't evaluate Rosen, how about that? Check out yesterday. Tell me you weren't happy with Rosen's performance. Maybe you weren't happy with the people around Rosen, but I thought he showed me a little something yesterday. And so that's what I'm looking for. in these games. And by the way, you know what is also time? It is time to see less of Devontae Parker. I'm tired of Devontae Parker already, and I'm the guy that wanted Devontae Parker. But when you're wrong, you're wrong, and when you've made a mistake, you've made a mistake, and you've got to admit it, and you've got to move on. And I certainly was wrong because he doesn't have the heart to be in this league. He can't get it done. I am tired of drops. He is in his 5th year already. Get rid of his ass already. Put him on the bench. Please play Preston Williams more. We need to find out what he is because there's a future there. There is no future with number 11 anymore. None.
If after the bye, Rosen all of a sudden comes in and you get a bunch of wins, are you getting a Tua then?
No, you will not.
Like
but
if you find out if he's your guy, like if all of a sudden you find out that he's your guy.
At the end of the year, if you say, "Oh, this guy was balling, this is our guy," you draft a guy in the middle rounds.
Okay.
You don't draft in the first round because in the first round you need a tackle, you need a defensive end, you need, you gotta build the line.
Just look for a solid vet next year to be.
I mean, hell, once you make the Minka trade, you're gonna have 3 first-rounders, so you can get yourself a tackle, an end, another end if you feel like it, or a shutdown corner to put opposite of X. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a football junkie, and I'm a draft geek, like most of you know. I'm so excited about this because I really feel like the Dolphins are going to build a real football team.
So Minka's out this week then?
Huh?
Minka's gone this week.
It could be. I think there's a good chance. There's several teams that are interested.
So, supposedly 20. So yeah, I mean.
Of course there's 20. I'm sure there's 20. I'm not surprised that there's a ton of teams interested in the guy.
How many good slot corners are there? Like really good slot corners?
Well, you're gonna have to pay more than a first rounder. So that's what I love. That's the other thing I like about Chris Grier. He's not like these GMs in the past that they panic and they give things away and all that stuff. Look what the Oakland Raiders did with Antonio Brown. So you traded 2 picks for him, and then you're just gonna release him? Screw you, dude. Put your ass on suspension. You don't want to conform. You're suspended. You're not playing for me or anybody else. That's what I would have done if I'm the Raiders.
Because you can't really move his contract. You couldn't move his deal.
Right.
So it's either you really. I mean, how much of a cap hit did they take by releasing him?
No. Oh, they $1 million, I think it was.
Right. As opposed to trading him, they would have taken what they would have taken.
Well, no, they didn't give him this. He didn't make the money. So they were free of the money.
Oh, okay.
They were free of the money. I think.
Yeah, he had to be on the roster that Sunday before the game, Monday.
Right. Once they pulled his guarantees from him for the behavior, that's it. He was playing on a week-to-week basis, and he didn't want to do that. Right. But if I'm the Raiders, oh, you want to play that game with us? Oh, you want to be a jerk? We'll be bigger jerks. You're on suspension now. That's what I would have done to AB. I would not. You let him get his way. So you're going to screw me of a 2nd and 5th rounder by acting like a jerk, and then I'm going to give you the go-ahead so you can leave? No, dude. You know what? I'll put you on suspension, and when the questions are asked, I'm going to say, gentlemen, we talk about players that are on the roster. Don't ask any more about Antonio Brown. He's not on the roster. He's on the suspended list. When he chooses to be on the roster and play with us, with our players, then we will talk about him. Thank you. Boom. And that's it. And you lay the groundwork, and it's over.
Yeah, well, you still have to pay him, though.
No, not if he's suspended.
And he doesn't count against the cap?
Nope.
All right.
Because it's conduct detrimental to the team.
Right.
He had already pulled so much before it that you already had every opportunity to keep his ass suspended. That's what I would have done. But anyway, so I'm excited about what the Dolphins are doing. Don't let these writers, don't let these talking heads on TV, don't let the people on radio, don't let any other person on a podcast or anything deter you from what's going on here. What's going on here is as positive as it gets.
Whoa. It's as positive as you've had.
Right.
In a while.
For the Dolphins.
Yeah, in a while.
That's who. Yeah. I only care about the Dolphins. I don't care about writers that have to cover a sorry-ass team. I don't care about a TV guy that's pissed off that has to walk in for another blowout. I don't care about the fans that are worried about their team that they broke up that won 6 games. Don't care about them. I care about the team, and the team is doing the right thing to win for you and me. Because one day I want to go to a Super Bowl, and I want to see the Dolphins win. This is an opportunity of building a team that could possibly get there one day. But the way they were going for the last 20 years, you were never going to see the Super Bowl, ever.
Let's not make the playoffs. Let's be right out. 9, 8, 5, 6. Be out of the top 10 in drafts.
I mean,
You're in no man's
the
land.
The closest turn you had was like when you got Parcells, but the only problem with that was that
he kind of tore it down too a little bit.
The only
it was
problem
a
with
bad
the Parcells
team.
move was that Parcells wasn't coaching.
And,
like that's what killed it. Like if you got Bill and he's coaching,
and they didn't find the QB.
Right.
Well, that's been the problem for everybody.
Yeah, but
Shula didn't find a QB ready after Marino. Jimmy couldn't find a QB. Bill couldn't find a QB. Saban made the wrong decision on the QB. You know, whatever. It's just
his system.
It's QB, bro.
His system would have worked if he's on the sidelines. The thing that kills it is that he's not.
Okay,
so
that's
he's not
fine.
running that show because
but you still need a QB.
I mean, eventually he would have got himself a QB.
They didn't even have a Hostetler. Okay, forget Phil Simms.
No, you thought that you were going to get that in Henny, and Henny just didn't work out.
Okay, Henny didn't work out, but that's my point. If you don't find the QB...
Yeah, but eventually he would have got another guy. Like, he wouldn't have sat there and rested on that. Like, eventually he would have got another
my man drafted Pat White in the second round.
Excuse me, sir.
Dude, the rest of that squad, though, was all the rest of those guys ended up being ballers.
No, they didn't.
All those other guys that you picked up a all-pro offensive lineman. You picked up a bunch of defensive guys.
And sadly, your all-pro offensive lineman ended up becoming a bust because he became injury-prone after year 3.
Excuse me, sir.
What? But you still...
I know he was a great pick at the moment, but unfortunately he broke down. But Philip Merling and all these other guys, Chad Henne, they really didn't work out.
He's not the guy on the sideline.
No, I get that, but he wasn't going to get more out of Philip Merling or Chad Henne.
I don't know about
they
that.
are what they are. You're not going to get anything out of those guys. They were bad picks.
I'd like to interject,
picks.
sir.
Yes.
We got a hurricane segment.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So can we change gears?
Yes, we got to change gears. Andrew Ivins is going to join us from 247 Sports. We're going to talk a little Canes as the Canes beat, was it Bethune-Cookman or something like that, right?
That would be correct.
Cookman-Bethune or something? Yeah, they beat something like that.
The Wildcats.
63-0. So we'll talk about that exhibition match for the Canes with Mr. Andrew Ivins. You got him already? No? Okay.
You go about winning a game and starting to feel the pressure if there are some struggles early on in the game, and you could sort of sense that with our guys may be pressing. We equate it to trying to hit a grand slam with no one on base, and once we settled down and just played the game, especially coming out after halftime, I thought we relaxed. I thought we played a lot better. For me, you're just so happy for the players because we have put them under and really challenge them, and you want them to see the reward for their hard work. So for them to see that was great. I don't get a lot caught up for me, but I do know that I prefer winning over losing too. So this is way more fun.
That's awesome, but hey, listen, there's nothing better than being a Hurricane. I promise you that. Like, listen, walking in those buildings every day and seeing the U and seeing the guys that wore the U, that's an unbelievable feeling. So I didn't know if I was going to be coming back because I'm going to be going to medical school, see where that's going to take me. And after Coach Frick left, I didn't know if the new coach was going to give me a scholarship. And I reached out to Coach Diaz and saying I really want to be part of this team. He goes, let me give you a call back. That day he calls me back and says, you're a Miami Hurricane again. I owe him everything. That's it. I play for him, and a lot of these guys play for him. I know we're 1-2 right now. It doesn't matter a lot. These guys play for that guy, and we love that guy.
You say it. Oh, say it. Say it. Say it. Well, I promised you that we are going to do things on this broadcast that most don't do. We have a text line. Okay, sponsored, of course, the accidentlawfirm.com text line is just. And then we're doing other things that other podcasts don't do. We're doing interviews. We got phone calls on the road. It's a beautiful thing. And the first one, the guy breaking the ice on the podcast is Andrew Ivins. Yes, sir, from 247 Sports. We're going to talk a little Canes. Follow him on Twitter at Andrew_Ivins. Andrew, you got to be honored. We're breaking the ice here. You're the first interview on the podcast broadcast, baby.
I'm part of the main voyage, I guess, right?
Yes. I love it. All right, let's see. Now let's see if we can do it right here and we can understand you. So what'd you think about Rudy and the boys this past week in a 63-0 win?
I mean, it was everything we kind of expected. I mean, I don't think many people out there thought the game was going to be close in any way. I think Miami was trying to score as many points as they could so they can get as many kids on the field that they could, and they got Jimmy Murphy in there late in the game. That was a pretty cool moment for anyone who stayed around or happens to have ACC Network and got to see the former walk-on who's 5'7", scored a touchdown and pretty much the entire sideline interrupt. I mean, that was a cool storyline for the game. I just think really my biggest takeaways from the game is they got some of those freshmen, sophomores into the game that they needed to, and the offense seems to be clicking. I think a lot of people don't realize Miami's only played one senior on offense through 3 games. So this is a new offense for that whole group. There's a ton of people that aren't really familiar with the system. So these are guys that need reps. And that's why I think it was so important for them to keep Jaron into the game. And I think the offense is only going to get better as the season goes on when it comes to timing and checks and all that.
So the Jimmy Murphy thing, I mean, that's one of those moments, right? It's just one of those moments where it's just a feel-good type of thing because we kind of all can relate to Jimmy Murphy in a way, right? Because he's as close to a regular guy than he is a superstar athlete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was walking off the field on Saturday night, and he was right in front of me. I think he was talking to his mother and I believe his girlfriend. And I'm like, this guy is, you would have no idea if you passed him at the store that he was the guy who scored and had that celebration. But yeah, it's an awesome story. I mean, a walk-on, a guy who lives and breathes for the Hurricanes. He'll do literally anything for them. And someone that the staff has been talking about for so long last year. I mean, when he first came on the scene, they would put him out there in special teams. But it's just a cool story. And how do you not cheer and root for that?
Oh, no, you have to cheer and root for that. Andrew Ivins, by the way, you can follow him on Twitter at Andrew_Ivins and catch his work at 247 Sports. Andrew, let's get into some of the news. Lingard was banged up. Looks like we're going to now finally see him against Central Michigan.
Yeah, it was disappointing for him not to get in that game just because it's one where I think they really wanted him to get out there. Lingard's been dealing with that knee injury, and he's a former 5-star recruit, a kid who pretty much every school in the country wanted. So it's a very, very humbling experience. I'm still kind of have my reserves about if he's going to be fully able to come back from this knee surgery. I think from what I saw in practice, he's got a big brace on there. He doesn't seem to be as quick as he used to be. So we'll see. I mean, I'm interested to see if they can get him into the game against Central Michigan, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I mean, I'm a big fan of Cam Harris. I'm a big fan of DJ Dallas. I just can't see Lorenzo Lingard coming and taking carries from those two guys just because I think those two are just at a different level right now, and they're good.
Mark Pope, what's the latest with the foot injury? What do you know? Because I know they kind of try to keep that stuff under wraps and away from you guys.
I mean, he just said in his press conference that they're waiting for the swelling to go down. I guess, it's not the NFL. I think his status for Saturday would be questionable. I mean, I don't think they're going to need Mark Pope to beat Central Michigan. They have other receivers. The rotation was pretty open against I must have been State against Bethune-Cookman. They got a lot of different guys into that game, so I don't think they'll rush him back. I was actually down on the field shooting photos when he got injured, and I have a still photo of it. It looks like his foot just kind of got bent backwards, like it wasn't an ankle or anything like that. I just think his foot kind of got jammed and that's why there's probably some swelling. I would doubt that there's anything like long-term, like ligaments or anything like that. It just looked like it was like if you smashed your foot to a door and it got bent back pretty well. I mean, I think it's probably swollen. It probably just hurts to run on.
Who impressed you out of the true freshmen that did play? And I know the competition isn't stiff with Bethune-Cookman. I'm sorry if those of you out there that went to Bethune-Cookman, I don't mean to insult you, but obviously it's not the same level. But which are the freshmen that really stood out to you?
Sam Brooks, the linebacker, coming into the game, I said he was a guy that Miami, I mean, if I was Miami, I would have started him. I wouldn't even play the seniors, but I don't think Miami was going to do that. But just Sam Brooks, he's a kid from Miami Northwestern, a local kid, a kid who actually had his knee tore up his junior season, but he rebounded, won a state championship. Miami got him into the game in the third quarter, and he played throughout. I thought he was very fast. I know it's, like you said, he's playing Bethune-Cookman, but he looked like he knew what he was doing. He was moving fast. He made 2 or 3 big hits. He was also on a lot of special teams. So just given the fact that Miami is going to lose those 3 senior linebackers here, and they really don't have anyone healthy, I mean, they need this guy to step up and be a dude. And I thought it was encouraging. I mean, he led the team in tackles, so I really liked him. On offense, Larry Hodges, the tight end, 2 touchdown catches. I mean, your first 2 catches in your career at Miami are for touchdowns. And, I mean, there's no guys. I mean, Miami has a pretty rich history at tight ends, and none of those guys have done it.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, they're playing the Wildcats, but just being as as me, I thought I was shocked that Larry Hodges was on the field. So he's been a pleasant surprise, and I really like him in that H-back fullback role.
Hell, man, they can line up a couple tight ends in the starting lineup with this school. I mean, with the talent that they've got there. What's the latest with Bubba Bolden?
So I kind of caught wind on this 2 weeks ago. I reported that I was hearing he wasn't going to be back until the Virginia Tech game. Manny did confirm that today. It just looks like USC, man, they really fought to uphold a suspension. He's not going to be able to play until that October 5th game against Virginia Tech. It kind of sucks because I think Miami would love to get him to rest. Have treated these 2 games like an NFL preseason week 2 and 3 and kind of get him out there into some game action, but it looks like he won't be able to see the field against Virginia Tech. I don't think he's a guy who's going to be a starter, but I think he's someone that can contribute to that rotation. I know the coaches really like what Robert Knowles did. They gave him the start against Bethune-Cookman after he played that great half against North Carolina. I mean, I shouldn't say great half, but a better half than what they had been getting in the first half against North Carolina. So I think he's a guy who will contribute there, and I think he's also going to be someone on special teams. But, I mean, he's a talented guy, and the good news if you're Miami, you're going to have 3 pretty good safeties next year in Bubba Bolden, Durbin Hall, and Amari Carter, or at least guys with game experience under the belt.
I'm with you. Andrew Ivins, by the way, joining us from 247sports.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Andrew_Ivins. Really clean game, too, for Jarren Williams. That's one kid that it's nice to see that the growth is, and again, I know it's lesser talent, but if you watch him from the Florida game till now, and in the North Carolina game, he had a nice game overall. This is the one kid that you see growing, and that's really good after they made that decision.
Absolutely. He just named him their rookie of the week after he went 19 to 24 for, I think it was 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. He hasn't thrown an interception. It's kind of crazy. I keep saying to myself in my head, I mean, we're eventually going to get this freshman game out of him, but it hasn't happened yet. I think there was maybe one pass that I was like, ooh, that was a bad throw. But he's been very good. 73% completion percentage on the season. He brought up how he's thrown against the Bethune-Cookman again, not the best opponent. But he has
Andrew, are you in a bad spot, or you have the phone on your? Because it's kind of fading out there. It's kind of muffling there. Just say it again. I'm sorry. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, so I was saying, you talked about him growing. You know, in the first 2 games, he only had 5 pass attempts over 20 yards. Then against Bethune-Cookman, I mean, he had 6 pass attempts over 20 yards. So they seem to be opening up the offense a little bit more for him. I thought his touchdown pass to KJ Osborne was a dime. So I think he's just growing every game. Again, you got to get nervous because every freshman quarterback has a friend. So hopefully he can keep his play up.
Well, it won't be against Central Michigan, brother. They're favored by like 600 points in this one.
30 points. I think 30 points was it last. It was what it was last night. I don't know if it's already changed. I don't know where the smart money is yet.
Yeah. So again, no competition this week. Is that what it is? More Jimmy Murphy this week?
No, I mean I think this is another game where we'll probably see. Hopefully, Miami will play those starters and then get some of the backups in. I don't think they'll be as trying to get as many of the walk-ons into the game, but I think if you can get some Sam Brooks in there, just some guys at positions where you need to grow that depth, that's kind of the plan. But they also want to stay healthy. I mean, because you got Virginia Tech and Virginia after a bye week. So, I think, this Central Michigan team got absolutely smoked by Wisconsin. It was 61-0. I think Miami should have should be able to move the ball pretty easily on the ground.
All right, Andrew, you're always on top of recruiting. What can you tell Canes fans? What good or bad news do we have over the last week or two here?
Well, the topic everyone wants to talk about is Manny Diaz's new recruiting rules or protocols that they've kind of put into place. And just a quick rundown of that. I mean, Miami, they led the nation in decommitments last cycle. Decommitments are kids that say, hey, I'm coming, and then all of a sudden change their mind and sign with another school. So Manny and his staff have kind of taken a step back, and what they're telling kids now is, you can commit to us and you can take your visits, but as soon as your senior season rolls around, you got to be locked in, or we're going to be looking at other kids and making sure we're not coming up empty-handed at the altar. So that's kind of the big thing. They had some kids in the stands on Saturday for that Bethune game, but I don't think the real big recruiting weekends are going to happen until that Virginia game and that Virginia Tech game when there's probably more fans in the stands.
All right, tell them about the podcast, Andrew, so Canes fans that are listening, they know it's a must listen when it comes to Through the Smoke.
Yeah, well, 24/7 Sports are making this big podcast push initiative. So me and another guy on my site, David Lake, I think it's about 2 times a week now. We're just doing a podcast. Pretty simple, just Miami football recruits. Any of your podcast platform.
There you go. And Ivans, and of course at 247sports.com. Andrew, as always, my brother, thank you for taking some time. You're a stud, and congratulations.
Yell at my service provider.
Who knows? It might have been our connection. Never know, bro. It was the first one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, Andrew. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you. Appreciate it. There you go. He sounded strong at the end there. About the you. It's all about the you. You say it. Like it? We'll have Chris Perkins on at the top of the hour to talk a little Dolphins. And a good win for the Canes. Something we can't brag about, obviously, because it's, Bethune-Cookman. But it's nice to see the quarterback progressing overall. Not much hopefully now when the ACC schedule picks up. That's when we start to get to measure them a little bit more. So we thank Andrew Ivans with that. Now getting back to a little Miami Dolphins talk. And Minkah Fitzpatrick is a guy that is right now on the trading block. And that's the one thing that I see that some fans are concerned about this stuff. And listen, in certain cases, I would be concerned with you about it. At this moment, I'm not. If Jerome Baker wants to be here, then that's the guy you want to build around. And if Christian Wilkins wants to be here, that's the guy you want to build around. Like I told you in the podcast a couple of days ago, Bobby McCain's playing safety. He's not complaining like Minkah is. Jesse Davis plays left tackle, left guard, right guard. I don't even know if they played him at center at one point or another. Or maybe he's practiced at center. All I know is he doesn't complain at all. So I've watched players switch positions and with the Dolphins over the years, okay? And this is the only guy that's complaining because he feels it's not his best position, and maybe it isn't. He's right. But at the moment, obviously the Dolphins feel they need better cover guys in their safety spots, and that's why they're using McCain and why they're using Fitzpatrick at those spots. You think Bobby McCain really wants to play safety? No, he probably wants to play corner. But he mans up. Jim Jensen manned up too. Shula said, you know, I don't need you as a quarterback anymore, Jim. I want to now make you crash. As in crash Jensen. Play halfback, play tight end, play wide receiver. Get a first down every time Marino needs it. Didn't complain. He went out and did it. You know, it's just, these are things that have happened over the lifetime. I saw Mark Dixon, okay? Richmond Webb left to Cincinnati towards the end of his career. They needed a left tackle. Mark Dixon was an exceptional guard for the Dolphins. Probably the most fundamentally sound guard I have ever seen in a Dolphins uniform. That dude would lock you in and then guide you right out of the play. He'd use all your momentum. I mean, it was a thing of beauty to watch how technically sound Mark Dixon was. But then they asked him to go play left tackle because he was such a great athlete. We're talking about an offensive lineman that can tomahawk dunk. Okay? Mark Dixon could tomahawk dunk a basketball. So clearly a nasty athlete. And so, well, we need you at left tackle. And he was as uncomfortable a player at another position that you have ever seen in your life. He didn't really want to be the left tackle, but he didn't complain. He didn't tell his coaches, no, I want out. No, he moved. And he did it. And he wasn't great at it, but he was serviceable. He did a decent job because, again, phenomenal athlete, smart, fundamentally sound, so it gave him a shot to succeed at that left side, and he did, survived there. But he sucked it up for the team. That's what it's about. And so for those of you that want to pick on the Dolphins, go ahead. You can do that. But if the coaches feel that they need you here, even though you may feel it's not your best spot, but it's what's best for the team, that's what has to be done. So if Minkah cannot be a team player, then you move him. But the beauty now with the Dolphins is there is not going to be any more desperation moves. Oh, you want Minkah? No problem. You got to pay us what we want for Minkah. They're not in a hurry to trade him. They didn't want to trade Tunsil either. But if the offer gets ridiculous, then you got to do it.
What would be your asking price?
I'd say a first and a third.
And that's that you
Starting
would take, you
right
would
there.
take it. You would take it.
Yeah.
Same year, obviously.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. I'll take a 2021 third. 2020 first and a 2021 third.
You know what? Like you've talked about, considering we're so heavy loaded, like spread this out a little bit.
Greer's also. Let me forecast this for you. Teams really don't want to have 4,000 picks because then 3-4 years later, if you hit on them, on several of them, you're going to have problems. So you want to spread it out a little bit. So they may not draft all 13. They may move some of those into the following season, into 2021. And so expect that to happen where maybe they still have 13, but instead of that third rounder, it becomes a fourth rounder, and then they picked up an extra third next year or something like that.
You know what? The first round pick, turn it into a couple picks.
Right.
And every time you can move back and also having the first pick.
Depends on what kind of draft we're talking about. Because if it's heavy tackles and you're in the middle of the round with one of those and you need a tackle, then you go draft a tackle. So, again, these are things we cannot predict. Well, okay? It's like the people that say, well, they gave up on Rosen already. Well, they haven't. They haven't given up on Rosen. They haven't seen enough to give up on Rosen yet. What if the guy goes out there and starts balling? I mean, yesterday he did a pretty good job.
Yes, he did.
Overall, I like what I saw from Rosen. Oh, and what about the toughness? Hey, can I ask you guys something about Josh Rosen? Because all I hear is prima donna. All I hear is silver spooner. All I ever hear is entitlement. All I ever hear is a whiner. All I ever hear is negative crap about him. All I've seen is moxie. All I've seen is toughness. All I've seen is a guy that will fight to the end of the play. All I've seen is accurate. Yeah, he's young. He's inexperienced. He's going to make mistakes. I expect that. Especially with a second-year quarterback that was taught nothing his first year. I got no problem with that. Okay, I'm good with mistakes. I'm good with all of that because that comes with the territory with young players. Okay? That's why when Jakeem Grant was dropping 4,000 balls his rookie year, I said, what? Pump the brakes. People were overreacting. I said, he's young. Give him a year. And then everything changed. I know he dropped one yesterday, but whatever. Man, that thing hit him in the face mask. Okay? I mean, I mean, Rosen dropped a dime on his ass. I mean, it hit him right here, bro. Right there. And he couldn't catch it. He needed Steve Entman at that moment. I lost like 90% of you, but those of you who are old enough, you remember Marino. Ekman didn't intercept the ball. It got stuck in his face mask, okay? And then he just grabbed it out of his face mask, and by the way, ran for 99 yards.
I was at that game. I remember that.
Lord.
We're going down to score in this, and then like, what? Why is that guy? No.
Best play of his career because he was a bust, actually. Major bust. And the guy was supposed to be a beast.
Wasn't he Washington? Was he a Husky? That's what I thought.
Yeah. But back when Washington actually was tough. Back when the Pac-10, or were they Pac-8 then? They were Pac-10? Were they Pac-10 already?
Pac-10.
Okay, so Pac-10, and they were like the only team that had some balls in that conference. What?
Split with us, 92.
Oh, yeah. They won the national championship.
We did win the AP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, I remember that. But, yeah, they were tough. And in those days, Washington had a tough team. They don't have that anymore.
Do you remember that year Walt Disney offered Washington and Miami supposedly like $15 million to play a championship game? That was like, and nobody confirmed it, but that was like the start of, we can't have this split. Because then
I'm too old.
Wasn't it Georgia Tech also?
Yes, they shared
split
one. Yes.
one, and there was a run of like over 5 years. There was a bunch of splits, and it was like, no. We need to figure something out. That was the start of it.
The Rose Bowl? Yes. Yeah, wasn't it McCarthy, the guy from Georgia Tech? Was it McCarthy? Was the name of the guy that won that shared the national championship?
Bobby Ross. Ross.
Oh, it was Bobby Ross. It's Bobby Ross. That's right. Colorado was the McCarthy guy. That's what it was. That's where, and he had a share, right?
Yes.
That's what it was. That's where I got my stuff. Jim Doskow on Twitter. My brother, it's text where you send your name and your address. He's DMing me his name and address and shirt size. It's text. If you want to try to win one of our shirts, I'm mailing them out tomorrow. So we're giving these out. Tomorrow we're giving these out, okay? But the only way you can win this is by texting at 786-322-1105. Put your full name, your address, and shirt size, okay? If we pick you, you will win. But if you send an email with no information, we will move on to the next person. Don't text, don't tweet, don't Facebook, don't Instagram it, don't do any of that. text only to the accidentinjury.com text line, okay? Well, the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. Accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105.
God, you know, I'm a little biased, but man, that shirt looks sharp.
I know, isn't it? It's pretty cool. Wait till we get the other ones too. We got some other ones too. We're gonna have a we're gonna do some stuff that is gonna be pretty cool.
Love the gray, man.
Yeah,
Goes with
it?
anything, bud.
Yeah, and it's hot, so it's a little cooler than the black one. So that's kind of why we went with the. But we are gonna get black ones. We're gonna have a couple different colors. We're gonna have a couple different styles of shirts. We're gonna have some stuff that we're gonna sell. So we're going to have some stuff that's going to be funny. It's going to be, we are growing by the day, baby. Okay? By the day. So it's a beautiful thing. I love this. I get a text from somebody who says, Big O, where you been? Haven't heard you on The Man. Still there? What is this? I hear party in Vegas for the draft next year. I'm there. Give me details. Is it for real? Where's the draft going to be? Well, the draft's in Vegas, and we are planning to go to Vegas, and we are planning to dominate a hotel with all kinds of Dolphins fans because the draft next year.
We're going to commandeer and take over the hotel.
We're going to take over, and we're going to broadcast the draft, audio, video, all of that. And you know that we can provide insight for the draft that nobody can provide in town anyways. Nobody that covers the Dolphins is going to cover the draft like we do, like I have now for 20 years. Dolphins style, because that's how we cover the draft. Dolphins style. What are you asking, Los? Where? Las Vegas. We haven't decided yet. We're working on the hotel. Oh, no, we don't know yet. It will not be at T-Mobile. I can guarantee you that because the hockey playoffs will be going on, and they won't know if the Knights are in and out by then. They got to plan it now, so they won't know. So my guess, it's going to be at Thomas and Mack. That's my guess, okay? Outside of that, it's the MGM Grand Garden Arena, whatever. Why won't they do it there? You think it's too small? Huh? Well, no, forget the casino now. That doesn't matter anymore. That don't matter anymore, dude. We're done with that already.
Yeah, the Raiders are moving in.
Yeah. There'll be casino ads at that stadium. They'll be playing jackpots on the concourse, okay? Now, watch out if they don't have a blackjack table somewhere in that stadium at one point or another. Seriously, gambling it's done already. They're associated with it. Anyway, they associate themselves with FanDuel and all that other stuff nowadays? I think they do.
Yeah, that right there was like kind of the end of. Yeah, come on, man, that's betting.
Wait a minute. If I'm correct, Robert Kraft has some portion of either DraftKings or the other one. What is it that I just said?
No, I don't know nothing about this.
Yeah. Robert Kraft has interest in one of those.
Wasn't there a story about collusion or something? Inside stuff.
Massages, yes, with Kraft, but not collusion.
No, I'm talking about within the one of them. Supposedly that whatever it was, and they had guys within the organization making bets.
I don't know, but let's get Chris Perkins on. It is 2:00. We are going to do the second half of the podcast, and when we come back, we're going to start talking a little Dolphins football. Have we been talking Dolphins? Yeah, we do. I think we talk Dolphins once in a while on this show. But anyway, Chris Perkins from The Athletic talking a little Dolphins next.
The Dolphins had dominated Washington. Now they were dueling with destiny.
45 seconds to go. Down. Here is Kilmer. Back to throw. He is caught. And he is dropped back at the 17-yard line.
That's it. It's over. Way to go, Nicky. That's right, man.
4 seconds. 3 seconds. The Dolphins have won Super Bowl VII. Have completed the greatest season in NFL history.
Barry Barry Zonka was the game's most valuable player, rushing for 145 yards and scoring 2 touchdowns.
Now he hands off to Zonk, heading right side. Touchdown, Larry Zonka. His second touchdown of the afternoon. And the Dolphins, if they hadn't already established clear superiority in this game.
At the end of Super Bowl VIII, Coach Shula called a few of us off. I went toward the bench, and Don Shula came over and gave me a big. That was the perfect ending to a nearly perfect day.
48 touchdowns in that era, in that time, is still remarkable. And the fact that it lasted for 20 years, really didn't even get sniffed.
Defensively, I thought the guys played hard. They made some stops. I mean, that's a good offense. You know, I thought they played hard. I thought we tackled, fairly well. Thought we defended the deep part of the field well. We got they made some plays as well. They got good players. And offensively, we just, we didn't get anything going. We turned the ball over. We got to do a better job offensively and really collectively as a team. We'll just come back to work. Tomorrow we'll come in, we'll make the corrections on today's film. We'll come back Wednesday. I thought we had a better week of practice, but, at the end of the day, it's about our production in games. So come back, we'll go to work, we'll make the corrections, we'll get better, we'll improve. It's disappointing. Those guys are disappointed. They work hard. They put in a lot of work, but we just gotta, we gotta play better. That's disappointing. There were some drops out there, some plays we could have made. We left some yards out there. I think we know that. The good thing is that we had opportunities. We gotta capitalize. We gotta capitalize on those opportunities. They don't show up often, and we have to make plays when they're presented. And I think we'll do that. I think we'll improve. We'll get better. We have some guys. I believe in our players. I believe they'll make those plays. I know they're disappointed that they didn't, but it wasn't one guy. It was us as a collective group. We got to do a better job of, as a staff, of getting them in position to make more of those plays. So the missed opportunities, they're there. Everybody can see them. We just got to do a better job.
You're live, sir.
We are live. It's a beautiful thing to be live. We're live, all the way live. Don't even have to walk, don't even have to talk. Just slide, slippity slide. Don't forget about your troubles in your 9 to 5. Just sail on. That's what you do. Just sail on. Ah, yes. Rest in peace, Rick Ocasek. We're at that age where you just start hearing about them and losing them.
So many good songs, man.
Yeah.
A lot.
So many great songs from the Cars.
My YouTube file for them at like 40-something songs, and I'm still missing some.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I feel you. No doubt. So rest in peace. We are trying to get in contact with Chris Perkins, and once we do from The Athletic, we will bring him on board. Bill will try to track him down. And if anybody sees Perk, tell him, Perk, answer your phone. We're trying to get you on the air here. If you want to get in on the program, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. I love when I'm getting texts from people that work at other radio stations and want a shirt. That is just absolutely fantastic. It is a beautiful thing. Thank you, as always. Big O Party at Vegas. I only listen to you when it comes to the draft. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we are going to have the ultimate draft party there in Vegas. We are going to smoke all these fools.
We are planning to do, I would guess, the East West, Senior,
yes. We're going to the combine. We're doing it all.
So, yeah, we're going to have a plethora of information like nobody else.
Well, no, and no, I have more flexibility. We now, but what I'm saying for me is I was always on a station, then I had to be on at a specific time. And now with the Senior Bowl, you know that we could podcast all day, and we could, like, when I get a really good interview, we just walk over to our booth, sit down, record the interview, and then we podcast it out. Or we can actually have the camera always ready and fire off the live interview too at the same time. And I'm going to get access to players more than anybody else, except maybe, who is it? Is it NFL Network or ESPN? Whichever one of those carries it. Obviously, they'll have dibs over everybody because they're paying it. But out of regular people that are at that event, we have more juice than everybody of all those folks. So we'll be able to get, and you know I'm going to work to get all the quarterbacks, whoever's there. Although Tua will not be there because he won't be a senior. So no shot you won't see Tua at the Senior Bowl, which, my Lord, if Tua was at the Senior Bowl this year, Tua at the Senior Bowl, it would be so slammed. I mean, there would not be a ticket available, okay? Not that Tua needs to go to the Senior Bowl, because once he's done, he doesn't need to do anything. It's over for him. He's number one.
Yeah, the less becomes more.
Yeah. Minkah has talent, but could this simply be Flores putting system over talent and trying to teach Minkah that? Is that what the Pats do? Or trade the 2019 second-round pick for a 2020 first-round pick, etc. First of all, he's a first-round pick, not a second-round pick. And it's not about system. Listen, they're doing with Minkah what's best for the team, not for Minkah. I keep telling you guys this. And that's why when writers or TV talking heads or radio people, and they're complaining about the Dolphins, oh, they tore it down too much. Oh, they're a terrible team. Oh, this is insulting. It's not about you guys. Nobody cares. And I am so proud of Stephen Ross yesterday, because Dave Hyde sent him an email and asked him several questions. And Stephen Ross, finally answered back some of the questions. And one of them was, hey, guys, we told you this was going to be very painful. That's part of this process. So he's not panicking at all. And I'm glad, because, boy, some of you out there, my Lord, you think like you think they kidnapped your son or daughter or something. It's like, what do you miss? It's like I said at the beginning of the podcast. They did not tear down the 97 Marlins. Okay? They have torn down something that accomplished nothing every single year. So you're not missing anything whatsoever. I'd rather suck and it's planned than every year you tell me, you're Jimmy, we're going to be special. You're Wannstedt, this will be one of the greatest defenses that the Dolphins have ever had. You tell me, you sell me Saban, and then you sell me Parcells, and then you sell me this, and you sell me that, and then what do you end up with? Nothing. 6 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins, and an embarrassment. This, at least, you're supposed to suck. You're not trying to win right now. Unless there's like 4 or 5 of you out there that think that you're supposed to win. I'm good with this. I have no problem with it. Let's check the text line, the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Although most of the texts that are coming in right now are addresses and names and shirt sizes right now, which I don't blame you. We got several here, several hundred. There's a bunch here that have come in.
All this panicking,'s like Chicken Little. The sky is falling.
Yeah. I'm with you.
If you're gonna suck, you be the best at sucking. You
Yeah.
go all in and be the first pick.
Let's see. Not only Minka this week, but Drake next week. Auditions for the Chargers, Bill and Simi. Well, apparently they're not trying to trade Drake at all. And let me give you a little breaking news. I said it on the podcast yesterday. Minka's the only player that's asked for a trade. Okay? There are no other ones. So all this talk about, players are lined up and they want out. It's a lie. Okay? It's Minka. That's it. The only guy that's approached him about a trade, the only guy that wants out. There is no revolt. Did you watch how they played yesterday? They may suck, and they're getting blown out, but they're trying. They're busting their asses. And that defense played their asses off for most of that game. That was, I got to tell you something, that was actually a respectable performance by that team on defense. Offense, it was despicable, but it's kind of the plan. Yeah, 3 quarters. Yeah, you're right. For 3 quarters,
The offensive line's only been together, 12, 13 days?
Yeah. And they actually gave the quarterback a couple times an opportunity to throw the ball downfield. One guy says, it's not about dumping a 6-10 team. It's about being able to evaluate talent when 95% of the team should not be on the NFL team. Well, that's why they're bad, sir. They're young at this point, and they do evaluate. That's why they were successful with Tunsil, and then they traded him for a boatload. And that's why Chris Greer was successful in getting Xavier Howard in the 2nd round. And that's why he's successful, or will be, with Christian Wilkins. And that's why he's successful with Minka Fitzpatrick, because he's a good player. And so is Jakeem Grant. So he's been successful at identifying talent. He's also been successful at trading talent away and getting value in return, like getting Tannehill off your roster, off your cap, and you still got a draft pick in return for him. I mean, I can't help most of you out there if you don't see that Chris Greer's actually done a very savvy job of breaking down this team. And the beauty is, some of you out there, you want to bring somebody else in to do his hard work and how he has set up the team. That couldn't be more insulting right there. Oh, did you guys pick a hotel for Vegas? Not yet, Bill. We have not. Okay? Let's see, what else do we have here? I'm trying to pull up stuff. Listened to you for years now. Please tell me, because I've been a fan since 70. I'm 54 years old. I'm all for stockpiling picks. Can Tua pull an Eli Manning and say he does not want to play for the Dolphins? Sure. Yeah, of course he can. And then the Dolphins will say, we don't care. And then they can trade him for a boatload. Kind of like what San Diego did. They traded Eli, and they got LaDainian Tomlinson. They got Lights Out. They got the kicker. They racked in that trade. They were great in that trade. And Phillip Rivers, right? Well, yeah, both sides, of course, because the Giants got a franchise quarterback. But what I'm saying, San Diego got a better trade. Now, they did less with it because the Giants were a better organization. Huh? No, I'm just saying, but I'm saying the Giants did more because they're just a better organization. But the San Diego got a boatload, dude. A boatload in that trade. They did a great job. They had a great front office. They just didn't have the coaching staff to get them over the top, unfortunately. A longtime listener of the show. Oh, okay, you want one of those shirts? Well, good luck to you. Let's see. It is a ton.
We have Mr. Perkins with a saw.
All right. All right. Let's talk a little Dolphins right now with Chris Perkins from The Athletic, by the way, and you can follow him on Twitter at Chris Perk after that beautiful 43-0 win by the Patriots. Perk, how you hanging in there, my man? How you hanging in during this rebuild? Do we have him? I don't hear him. Bill?
Oh, yeah, we should. Hold on.
Okay. It's the new, see, it's kind of the challenge here. Let's see. Trying to get him on now. And by the way, if you have any questions on the show, comments, insults, 786.
I think we got him.
322-1105 for the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Perk, how you doing, my man?
Big O, I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I am doing outstanding, my brother. I am loving life, as they say. We're having some fun with the podcast broadcast. And you are our second guest now on the show. Andrew Ivins was first in the first hour, and second because we just added the phones to the podcast broadcast. So we wanted to expand it a little bit. So welcome aboard on our first day of doing interviews, my man.
Dude, Big O, I am honored, man. I'm sorry I was a little bit late, but dude, we got a lot to get into with Dolphins, man. I got a lot I want to say here.
All right. Well, first of all, when does the Minkah deal happen? And because it looks like it's imminent. But one thing I will say, what I love about all of this, Perk, is that Chris Grier is not one of those guys that's been one of those, weak GMs. This guy, when he's making moves, he's making strong ones. And so from everything I hear, they're going to get more than a first-rounder for Minkah Fitzpatrick. So they're looking, again, that if they're going to have to part ways with a player, you're going to have to pay their price. And that's something we rarely ever saw with the Dolphins in the past.
It is, Big O. And look, here's my problem, though, that I think that to a certain extent, you can strip it down too far. And what I mean by that is you give up too much proven NFL talent in exchange for draft picks, which, let's face it, are a crapshoot. So I understand trading Tunsil and Kenny Stills to Houston. I would even understand trading Minkah, but at a certain point, you've got proven players that you know what these guys can do, and now you're going to spend 2 or 3 drafts trying to get those guys back. And so that's what I really don't like is that, you're almost, you could have been starting from, 1995 Jacksonville, let's just say. You've almost put yourself at 1976 Tampa Bay Buccaneers for this rebuild, that you've just gone too far. That's what I don't like about what they're doing right now.
You know what? I totally understand that, but I also understand them. I don't think they wanted to trade Tunsil, but if Bill O'Brien's going to get absolutely stupid and offer you a deal you can't refuse, then you got to do it. And then Minkah, you have philosophical differences. Right now, they clearly they need more cover guys in their safety positions. That's why you'll see Bobby McCain and Minkah play more safety. Minkah wants to play slot, but the slot's on the field 65% of the time. The safety's on the field 100% of the time. So they want to put some of their best players out there, and Minkah doesn't want to be flexible. Meanwhile, his teammate Bobby McCain should be a slot corner, and yet he's playing free safety, and he's not complaining. Jesse Davis plays 87 positions on the offensive line, even though there's only 5, but he plays 87 of them and never complains. And so if you're the Dolphins, I kind of understand this. It sucks, but if Minkah wants to, be all about himself and the team needs him there, you got to part ways with the kid. But if you're going to part ways, you part ways on your terms, not his.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. My thing is, I thought that Flores, to his credit, did a very good job with Minkah yesterday in that he had him back there deep at a free safety quite often. He wasn't down in the box taking on the run and run support and taking on tight ends the way we saw in training camp and preseason and against Baltimore, that Minkah was kind of back in more coverage situations, more free safety situations, which I thought helped the team and helped Minkah more. But Apparently that's not going to be enough to keep him. But you even go a little bit further with the stripping down the NFL caliber talent. That guys such as Vincent Taylor and Akeem Spence and T.J. McDonald, even if they weren't part of your long-term plan, that when injuries come, this team won't be out there getting embarrassed, that Christian Wilkins is able to grow and do his job because he's not covering for the no-name defensive tackle who's beside him. Same thing for Bobby McCain, that he can grow and do his job because he's not covering for some cornerback who isn't of NFL caliber. And so I think in that way, this rebuild, this stripping down, it kind of, has a negative return in that you, to a certain extent, you've got to surround NFL players with NFL players so that they are allowed to have the freedom to do their job and improve. And I think that you're going to get into a situation with this team where Jesse Davis can improve because he's, say, covering for Michael Dieter or he's covering for Durham Smythe or whatever. So that's the second part of my concern with this strip down, Big O.
And listen, it's understandable, but Perk, then you're trying to get them to win 4, 5, or 6 games. They're not trying to win 4, 5, or 6 games. They want to bottom absolutely out. And that's why I think they're doing this. And as for the Ravens, okay, and why they had him more in free safety yesterday, well, you got to deal with Edelman, you got to deal with Antonio Brown, you got to deal with Philip Dorsett, and you got to deal with the kid that has the substance issues, Josh Gordon. Whereas Baltimore the week before, outside of Marquise Brown, you really don't have a lot of those guys that are going to be burning you deep. And I think that's why they had him more in free safety yesterday compared to Baltimore. That Baltimore, you have X, and you can put him on Marquise Brown or any, one guy can worry about Marquise Brown, but the rest of that team doesn't have the kind of playmakers that New England does. And I think that's why it changes from week to week. It's not that he's going to be in that safety spot every single time. It all depends on what it is and how they scheme it that week. And yesterday, with all those weapons, they had to scheme it a little different, and that's why they put him where I think he should have. But for me, that's what he is, actually. People talk about slot corner and all that. If I said the day they drafted Minka, park his ass at free safety and leave him there for the rest of his career, because for me, that's really his real position. That's just me.
Hey, Big O, Flores is coming in here right now.
Go ahead.
Fortunately, I've got to cut this short, man.
You got it, baby. Go do your work.
Okay, thanks.
You got it.
Thanks,
No
Big
problem. Chris Perk is the Twitter handle on The Athletic as he's got to go to the press conference. He told me at 2:25 that Flores was going to talk. Hey, why don't can you pull up Twitter? Why don't we get Flores? Why don't we air that press conference? You can do that, right? You can pull it up Twitter right now.
See what we can do.
Go ahead. Pull up Twitter right now and pull up Flores walking to the podium. Let's air it right now. You can do it. You can do it.
Okay, I'm in the middle of trying to podcast, so you hold on one second.
Okay, all right. So how about that? Get a little Flores action. Let's hear. Again, this broadcast does it all for you. We got a text line. We got you on video. We got you audio. We got interviews. We could air press conferences. And wait, there's more. Okay? Telling you. We got more coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. You got my man Flores there? All right, let's see if we can air out Flores for you. And again, Big O, I know you're going to defend the tank job, and I'm with you. I agree this organization needed a 10-gallon enema, organizational enema. However, the team still has decent young talent, definitely enough talent to garner more than 3 first downs through 3 quarters of play yesterday. See, that's the problem with some of you. You have unrealistic expectations. That's why people kept telling me, oh, no, they'll win 3, 4, 5, 6 games. And I'm telling them, no, they won't. You people don't really realize how bad this team is. We have
I thought we were going to get lucky and fall into 2 or 3.
No,
man.
No.
It just, no.
No. Anything? You can't pull up Twitter? Well, then hit the screen. It should pop up, the sound. No? There we go. There we go. So we're trying to see if we could get you a little Flores action. so we can air and see what the coach has to say about it. Now, again, I'm all for losing and starting anew, but this team is not 50 points worse than the Ravens or Patriots. They are, dude. They are. They are. That's all. What do you guys care if they lose by 20 or by 5 or by 50? They're still going to lose 16 games. They're still going to have the number 1 pick in the draft. Why do you have to whine so much about it? This was the plan. They tore it all the way down to the ground. They got rid of all the bad salaries. They're opening up $150, $60 million of cap space next year. They've got tons of picks. This was the plan. I don't know why you want to fight it. So it makes you happy that instead of losing 43-0, they lose 43-20? That's going to make you feel better? Yeah, I feel good. We only lost by 23 as you're walking out the building. Yeah. Let me go buy another beer. We're only down by 20. Really? I thought it was about winning. I thought it was about, like, getting to the playoffs in the Super Bowl. Not about, hey, let's lose by less. What the hell is that? They're bad.
Fourth place.
Yeah, no, 32nd place, bro, not fourth place.
Yeah, I know, but I am doing semi-pro. Remember, they're going nuts about being in fourth. We're going nuts about winning, 2 or 3, 4 games.
Give me a break.
And lessening the loss, like you said, cut it in half. So instead of losing by 50, we lose by 25. Come on.
Just people I really don't understand some of you out there. And some of you don't even understand what's going on. It's hard to find texts that have questions because you guys are sending in for the shirts like crazy. I keep opening them. Let's see. What else do we have here? Big O, please pick me. I listen to your show every day, which I think you're 100 times better now than the handcuffs from the joke of a station you came from.
Tell me a few things that you like that you saw
Perkins.
out there, and especially with the defense.
This is head coach Brian Flores.
Communication was better. I thought we tackled better defensively. Didn't give up very many big plays. I thought they fought. There was a couple third and longs there. I wish we were better. We were better on, but I think it was a step in the right direction. But we still got a long way to go, offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game.
Is there something that can be done aside from lineup changes to improve the offensive line?
Just constant communication, constantly working together, working through the protections, working through the run game, communicating. We got a lot of games, and yesterday we struggled with. We need to do a better job there. But again, when you work with a group, and week after week after week, and you build a better rapport, I think that'll help the entire situation.
Brian, what was your initial reaction when you saw Josh Rosen rolled up on the other sideline, and what were your conversations with him when you came over to your own sideline afterwards?
It's the same reaction I have when any player goes down. Hope it's not serious. You want to see him, pop right back up. When they're on the ground for a minute, you start to think that it's a little bit more serious. But he jumped up. We had to take the time out to put him back in the game. He went back in there. We finished, so that's a good thing.
How does that evaluate his play?
He went in. Obviously, the game was where it was. He made some good throws. I think we could have helped him out by catching a couple of those passes. And look, turned it over at the end. He could have threw that ball away that he got dinged on. But overall, look, when you're in a game in that situation, it's pass. You're not really managing the game, or he's trying to push the ball downfield to create some plays, which I thought he did a good job of that.
What does he show you to get a start?
It's like everyone else. Do a good job in meetings, do a good job in walkthrough, do a good job in practice. That's at all positions, to include the quarterback.
Do you expect Josh to be a full participant in practice this week, or would he be limited from?
He's in today. It looks good. We'll see where he's at Wednesday.
Looking at your offensive line, I thought you had 7 guys up yesterday. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And Bame and Calhoun were the 2 guys who didn't start. What would you have done at backup tackle? Who was your backup tackle?
We had a plan for the backup tackle position. I'm not going to hand that out right now. We didn't have to get to it. But yeah, we definitely had a plan for a backup tackle. We wouldn't go into a game without a backup at every position.
All the time, all across the league, it's a week-to-week situation, and these guys are professionals and paid to play. But how do you talk to them about just the emotions of these historically bad losses the last 2 weeks?
I think we come in, we make the corrections, and we move on. We don't point fingers, we don't make excuses, and there's a room full of guys who aren't doing that. So that's how you do it, and you move on to the next day, the next practice, the next meeting. You start preparing for the next opponent, and like you said, it's week to week. So try to turn things around as quickly as possible, and we move on. I coach these guys to move on to the next play after play after play. The next play is the most important one, and I think we need to. That's got to be the case, off the field as well.
You said after the game that Minkah Fitzpatrick played well.
Yeah.
Would you like to find a way to keep him here?
Well, he's here, and he played well yesterday, and we'll go through the Cowboys tape and find a role that we feel is best for him and the rest of the group as well. So, yeah, I thought he played well, and hopefully he continues to play well.
Looked like he played a lot of deep safety, and he said after the game he enjoyed that. Is that something that you can anticipate him doing more of?
Oh, he's capable of doing a lot of things. Again, I've said that over and over and over again. He's a heck of a player. He's smart. He's tough. He's physical. Play deep. He can cover. And I think at the end of the day, we'll do what we feel is best for the team, and put him in positions to do what he does well.
I'm sure a lot of it is necessity driven, but Jesse Davis at left tackle, how would you assess the job he's doing, and do you think maybe he might be best suited sliding back inside the guard?
I think he's done a good job at left tackle. Again, it's a new position. I think he's done a really good job, and he's shown some leadership on his team, and he's a guy that obviously we extended him, and we feel like he's going to be here for a long time, and I think we've got a good young nucleus of guys that we expect to be here for a while. So he's part of that, and I think one of the things that's he brings his versatility. So left tackle, right guard, right tackle, left guard. See if he can snap a little bit, and I think he'll do whatever helps the team. Those are the kind of guys we want.
Ryan, a question that's a little bit out of the box. Antonio Brown has the touchdown yesterday, I believe, against Jamal Wiltz, where it appeared he pushed off. Is that an example of something that you would send to the league to get a clarification on the ruling, or how do you handle that?
Yeah, that was. I took a time out there to see if we can get a better look at that. They ruled that there wasn't a push off, and yeah, that was the call. And whether we agree with the call or not, that was the call that was made, and we've got to play through it. I thought the guys did. That made it. That was obviously a big play in the game. Made it 13-0 right before half. But tough call. That's part of the game.
Has drops been an issue for this team that you had seen in practice, or was that kind of out of character yesterday?
Yeah, I think it has. I think it was out of character. I think it's something. If there was something we've been consistent, with, it's that. But can't take anything for granted. So we'll go back to the drawing board from that standpoint, and it's something we work on a day-to-day basis. Throwing, catching, blocking, defeating blocks, tackling, all those fundamentals. And that's why you do them, because you got to be sharp in all those areas. And when you're not, it hurts you in the game.
You mentioned that the Patriots completed some 3rd and longs.
Yeah.
Philosophically and strategically for us and for the fans, can you just share a little bit when the team decides to rush 3 and drop 8?
Mm-hmm.
What generally is a potential positive for that, and what could be a negative?
Obviously, anytime you rush 3, it's 3 on 5. So do the math on that, and it's not a good matchup from a rush standpoint most of the time. Now, I've seen instances where you can get a rush, create a rush from a 3-man rush. So I'm not saying that there's no rush there. When you drop 8, you just put a lot of bodies out there, and you force the quarterback to take a look at 8 guys in coverage and see if he wants to take a shot with something downfield. That's the thought process. So that's really the thought process. If you feel like 8 bodies in those zones will give the quarterback problems, you do it.
Do you have an idea of guys who will be here for you long term and guys who won't?
I think that's I feel like we've got a young nucleus that'll be here for a while. I like that group, and I think they're coming together and improving, and I'm excited about that group. I think it's a good group.
Do you coach a young nucleus different than you may a veteran that might not be?
No, I coach everybody the same. I'm trying to get everybody better. Look, my goal in coaching is always to try to help guys maximize their potential. So veteran, old guy, new guy, it doesn't matter. Obviously, the everyone to me needs to be coached, and the really good players want to be coached, and young players want to be coached. So, and they need to be coached. So, this game's about development, and everyone's developing. Everyone's trying to improve, get better, and that's what I love about the job.
What would you assess the work of Christian Wilkins?
Christian, I thought he played, had some good plays yesterday. Obviously, it's never perfect, but he plays with great energy. I think he's starting to get a little bit more comfortable with the NFL game. I think he's an ascending player, and hopefully he continues to build and improve as the year goes on.
Brian has with Ryan is your starter, as you said, but there have been some quarterbacks around the league that have been gone down the last 2 weeks. Have you guys fielded any calls or will entertain any calls for Ryan?
We take calls every day. But again, about players, we take calls every day. Chris, Brandon, those guys do a great job as far as handling that. But yeah, we field calls every day.
If somebody would approach you with a trade for Ryan, would it be something for the team to consider?
Look, those conversations we have, and look, there's calls that are made on a daily basis for every team about players, about just there's talks every day. But those conversations are all confidential and they're internal. I like Fitz, and I like Rosen. I like a lot of players on our team. So, no, we have not had those conversations. That's where we're at.
I'm Jerry Longman with the New York Times. Would you entertain a couple of New York questions?
Yeah, sure.
So could you talk a little bit about how your own personal circumstances in growing up prepared you for professional difficulties? And on a lighter note, would you mind telling the story that the first time your Uncle Darryl introduced you to football, and what was it about that you liked?
That's 2 questions. So my Uncle Darryl, Darryl Patterson, He's a firefighter in New York. My dad was a merchant marine, so he was gone 10 months out of the year. So my Uncle Darryl was basically a father figure. So he'd take us to the arcade, he'd take us to bowling, things like that. So we're driving home one night, and I see, a Pop Warner League. And I asked him if I could play. I was 12 years old at the time. I'd never played. And no one in my family had ever played football. So he played football in high school and played for the FDNY football team. So he was excited that I had some interest. I went to practice one day, ran a 40, ran well, I guess. And that was kind of the start of my football career. So, he's somebody who was very special to me, and I don't know if I'd be standing here if it wasn't for him.
Your personal circumstances growing up, how that prepared you for these kind of difficult moments?
I would just say I've had very difficult moments. Growing up in a tough neighborhood, and I don't want to get into all that, but I'm very prepared for difficult moments, and I learned resiliency at a very early age, and I think when you deal with tough times, you want to lean on the people who you trust and care about you and have your back, and you always know that if you put your head down, work hard, things normally turn around and get better.
There you go. That is the head coach, Brian Flores, addressing the Meteors. There you go. Little New York questions there towards the end. Well, they tried to get him to bait him a little bit more on Minkah, and he was talking about how he likes him. We have to compartmentalize all this stuff, and you guys have to do this also as fans, okay? Before I do anything else, let me tell you that the show is proudly brought to you by CBD Coconut Creek. Go see Ryan Shantz and all the great people out there, okay, at American Shaman, American Shaman. And, whether it's probiotics infused with CBD, which is great for gut health, supports healthy digestion. I've been on my health kick, and I've lost 50 pounds. One of the things that Ryan is also helping me do is sleep. And for those of you that struggle with sleep, he has got some stuff that they're called CBD Cloud. And it just, if you're like me, and it happens to a lot of us, that your mind is going at 1,000 miles an hour while you're lying in bed and you're thinking about this and that, and you got to do this and that. This makes you relax, and you just chill, and then you fall into deep sleeps. Okay, and you'll go less to the bathroom also. I'm also taking this stuff that if you look at my bags, how do they look today? They look, they're kind of pinkish. Well, they were black. I mean, Benicio del Toro had nothing on me. They're lighting me up here, the CBD, and it's a roll-on. So listen, if you're dealing with stress, depression, you got anxiety, for kids, for your pets, I'm telling you, and if you want the strongest CBD oil on the market, go see Ryan Shantz and the people at CBDCoconutCreek.com. And even if you don't live here in South Florida, because many of you listen all across the country, you can actually order online at CBDCoconutCreek.com and call Ryan, okay? You can call him at 954-366-6574. That's 954-366-6574. All right, and go to CBDCoconutCreek.com. Ryan is just absolutely amazing. All right, let's see. What else do we have here on the program that we want to talk about? If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. And look, I was telling you, the coach doesn't want to get rid of players. I mean, that's just unacceptable. But if Laramie Tunsil is they offer you a deal you can't refuse, you got to do it. And then the flip side is, if Minkah's the only one complaining, okay, and the only one that wants out, then you accommodate him. But what I love is you accommodate him on your terms. And for those people that are complaining about this, Like I was just talking about with Perk now, that you're tearing it down too far. Well, what is too far? I mean, if you're trying to make sure that you're locking yourself down for that number 1 pick and you want to go really young, then mission accomplished. Now, if you want to try to be competitive, well, then, yeah, go ahead and go get and keep some of these veterans. But what does that get you? The last 15 or 20 years of being competitive at times and winning 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 games, that doesn't get you anywhere. So this is what they saw. This is what the owner saw. This is what Chris Greer saw. And he said, I got to do something. We got to change this and change it drastically. And this is what I'm trying to explain to people out there that are complaining about this. This is the fastest way where the Dolphins were at to get to a title. Because if you're going to stay in the middle of the draft, you're not really going to have a shot at a quarterback. You got to hope that one that's under the radar falls in the draft. Okay, whether it's Montana, Brady, whatever has happened over the years, Russell Wilson, you name it. You know what I'm talking about. But most of the time, you got to be up on the top of the draft to get Andrew Luck and trade for Carson Wentz and whatever else it is nowadays. And they're so desperate now for quarterbacks that they're trading up to reach for quarterbacks, even like Josh Allen. Okay? Josh Rosen they traded up for right before Miami picked him. And Miami was at 11. So Miami is putting themselves in a spot where they got to solve a position that they haven't solved since Dan freaking Marino. It's a long time, ladies and gentlemen. It's 20 quarterbacks since Dan Marino. Enough already. So I get that it's tough to watch and all of that, but what does it mean to be slightly more competitive? And if there are players that want out, well, then screw them, man. Trade them. Move on. It's time for the Dolphins to do what's best for the Dolphins. Not for whining fans, not for whining media, not for whining players. Okay? And if Minka wants to be selfish, that's his right. But the Dolphins will be selfish also. Oh, okay, you want out? Fine. You're out on our terms. Okay? Because we drafted you, and we got 4 years of property value with you. We're not just giving that up. You're a hell of a player. Somebody wants you, we're not giving you, we're not the Raiders. Okay? And that's what I'm glad that the Dolphins aren't doing. And you should be too. You should be glad that you've got a savvy GM that says, yeah, I'll trade up. I'll trade my second rounder and get a quarterback out of it and get another second rounder. And then I'm going to position this team for another quarterback in 2020 and in 2021 if I feel like it. That's the GM I want. It's so funny that how the past 15 to 20 years, people were so psyched whenever we brought in a new free agent and it never worked. We're finally doing something right and people are whining. But they're getting a boatload of picks for the purge. It's not like they're getting nothing for them. Expansion teams don't get that. We are set up beautifully. You, sir, or ma'am, whoever sent that in, you have common sense. I love it. Because that's how fans should be thinking. And I keep telling you, this is fun, man. Let's figure out who are the young guys that you want to build. Go look at Saturday's college football games. Go look at every quarterback because your team's got a boatload of picks. The Dolphins are going to own the 2020 draft. Okay? Every couple of hours, it's, well, here's another pick for Miami. Like every 2 hours, they'll be saying, here's another pick for Miami. Man, they got a boatload of picks. And then you got a GM that's going to be working it. Nobody has worked the draft and the draft market like Chris Greer has. And the last guy that I remember doing that was Jimmy Johnson. That's the last guy I remember wheeling and dealing like this. So for anybody to complain about what position you're in now for the future, forget about the present, because it's not about that. It's only about certain individuals that are involved in this present, because those are the pieces that you want to see. All right, Davin Godchow, is he the future? Christian Wilkins, is he the future? Michael Dieter, is he the future? Josh Rosen, is he the future? Preston Williams, is he the future? That's what you're looking at. Collectively, you're not going to get what you really want. Wins and a Super Bowl. That's just not going to happen. It's just too hard for it to happen. It's
not
near,
now, but we're working in the right direction.
Yeah.
We're closer when we
Yes.
come out of this than we've ever been.
Yeah.
You got to go back to the 70s.
Yeah, that's right. And you got to go to 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Go see Brett and all the phenomenal people at Caneswear. I was just there on Friday. And by the way, tomorrow will be Manny Navarro's, it's his return to our show, but the debut on the podcast, because every week on Tuesdays, all right, at 2 o'clock, you are going to get Manny Navarro with our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report every Tuesday right here. And we thank Brett and all the great people at Caneswear. New season. The store is big. It's beautiful. It's got everything. I have to actually tie Bill down in my car and not allow him in that damn place because he will spend like crazy.
I just want one of everything.
Yes, exactly. That's all he does. Every time he goes in there, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get that, I'm going to get that. Anyway, so they've got all kinds of stuff, all kinds of jerseys, shirts, you name it. They've got so many different styles of T-shirts. They've got autographed items. They've got the shoes, too, the Adidas shoes, the Kane shoes, which are so nice. You got to check it out there, man. 2511 South University Drive in Davie, folks. They've got the turnover chain type shirts. They've got everything for you, man. Dime Life, all. They've got Inter Miami stuff also. All right, so make sure you go see Brett and all the great people. Follow them on Twitter at Canes_wear and go to 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Go to the website, caneswear.com. Wherever you live across the country, you can order online and have it delivered right to your house. So if you live up in Hobe Sound and you don't want to drive, go ahead. You live in Jersey, you don't want to drive. You live in California where Bill and Simi Valley's out there, check it out. Call Brett and all the great people at caneswear.com. $99 and over, free delivery, which is a beautiful thing. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the show. And the other thing is, now is the worry that some Dolphins – here's the funny part. Some Dolphins want the team to keep some guys around. You may want to turn that down. Some guys may want to keep the team, certain guys around so they can be somewhat competitive and win a couple of extra games, which means nothing whatsoever. And then other people are worried about the competition now for the number one pick. And so the Jags are 0-2 right now. They take on Tennessee. They're at Denver, at Carolina, versus New Orleans, which – without Drew Brees, that might be a winnable game. And where are all the Teddy Bridgewater guys? I've said for many years, you may want your daughter to marry Teddy Bridgewater, but you don't want him quarterbacking your team. He's just a Jag. So the Jags will have an opportunity to beat New Orleans. They play Cincinnati, which they'll have a chance to beat them. Cincinnati's 0-2. They're battling Miami also for that number one spot. They're in Buffalo this week. Then they go to Pittsburgh, which, by the way, Pittsburgh will have no Big Ben, so maybe they can beat Pittsburgh. You never know. And they're taking on Arizona 3 weeks from now, so they'll have an opportunity. You need most of these teams to get just 1 or 2 victories, and that's it. I don't even think Miami will pick up 1. Arizona already is ahead of Miami here in the draft because they've got a tie. They're 0-1-1, so Miami will not tie anybody, will not win. Now they are taking on Carolina this week, then Seattle, then at Cincinnati, so that will be the chance that they have in the next couple of weeks to pick up a victory. Washington is 0-2. Remember, Washington plays Miami in week 6. They should beat Miami, okay? They play the Bears this week, then the Giants. The Giants are pretty bad. The Pats, like I said, Dolphins, and they play the 49ers, which aren't any great shakes. So this is the battle for some folks out there, is trying to figure out what's going to happen with that number one pick and who is battling Miami for the number one pick. Those are some of the teams that are battling for that number one pick. How about tonight? Tonight we got the Browns and we've got the Jets. And listen, as a Dolphin fan, it's in my DNA to root against the Jets, right? I mean, I got to root against the Jets, the Bills, and the Patriots. I want those three to lose all 16 games every year, okay? Because that's in my DNA. But tonight, it's more about watching Gase lose than anything else. And here's the other thing. The Browns, they're 0-1. This is one where they're handed a victory. But the Browns, are they the Browns of the past, or are they a new team now? And tonight you'll find out, because they're more talented than the Jets. They've got their quarterback. They should win. But what happens if they do something so Browns and actually lose to the Jets? All hell's going to break loose on Freddie Kitchens and the Browns. And then everybody will say, well, you see, we hyped up the Browns for no reason at all. And they got some talent. But I will admit, this is going to be fun to watch Adam Gase suffer. I'm going to be watching that game just to watch the crap face that he puts on every time they show him in the sidelines and something wrong goes on. That's when I'm going to say, okay. All right, that's the Adam Gase that we all know and love. I'm going to love watching that today, because he's going to be cringing. He's going to be dealing with the backup quarterback, which is Trevor Siemian, who's a Jag of all Jags. And then he's got Luke Falk, the former third guy here for the Miami Dolphins. What do you got for me, Bill? I see you.
You know what Gase got to say?
What does he have to say?
That's a shitty situation to be in.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's what Adam Gase says. Hey, what happened? Do you have there what happens when I ask Siri about the Dolphins and the Patriots? Because today I wanted to ask Siri about the Dolphins and the Patriots. Actually, I lied. This is Siri. I asked Siri last year, right? I think it was last year, about the Dolphins, the Patriots. And it was after one of the losses. And so you can actually just, put it on a loop, okay? Let me hear myself asking Siri about the Dolphins and the Patriots.
Hey, Siri, do you believe in the Miami Dolphins?
The Dolphins were subjugated by the Patriots today. The final score was 38-7.
One more time. Siri, do you believe in the Miami Dolphins?
The Dolphins were trounced by the Patriots today. The final score was 38-7.
Trounced. All right, one more time. Subjugated and trounced.
Hey, Siri, do you believe in the Miami Dolphins?
The Dolphins were soundly defeated by the Patriots today.
Soundly defeated.
The final score was 38-7.
There you go.
You know, it's the funny part.
Switches up
She's
those
saying all
adjectives.
these horrible things, and it's 38-7. What would she say after 43 to nothing?
I don't know. We could ask her. Does Siri work here? Hey, Siri.
Yes?
Tell me about the Miami Dolphins. Oh, wait a minute. Did I do it wrong? Hey, Siri, tell me about the Miami Dolphins.
Okay, this is the roster for the Dolphins.
Oh, no. Hey, Siri, what happened with the Dolphins and Patriots?
The Dolphins were soundly defeated by the Patriots yesterday. The final score was 43-0.
No creativity. Soundly came back. Hey, Siri, what happened with Dolphins and Patriots?
The Dolphins were subjugated by the Patriots yesterday. The final score was 43-0.
Watch this bitch use trounce now. Hey, Siri, what happened with Dolphins-Patriots?
The Dolphins were pummeled by the Patriots
Pummeled?
yesterday. The final score was 43-0.
We got a new one, pummeled. All right, Siri, what happened with Dolphins-Patriots?
The Dolphins were soundly defeated by the Patriots yesterday.
Soundly.
The final score was 43-0.
There you go.
I like the pummeled.
Pummeled was good. Pummeled was good. I like pummeled. That one's not bad.
It's actually very accurate.
Well, I mean, 43-0 wasn't too bad. How many of you made money on your team? All right, 'cause I don't know how many calls I got. Hey, are you betting against the Dolphins? I'm like, no, I'm not. I know it's easy money and it's a layup and all that, but I'm not doing it. I'm not sitting there going, no, I'm not doing it, man. I'm just not.
The Dolphins are poison. The minute you put that money down, that's when they'll show up.
Yeah. It's, damn, I tell you.
Been there. With points, give points, home, away, this,
Yes.
that. Man, they are poison. Stay away from the Dolphins unless you want to make a donation to your favorite gambling
That's right.
facilitator.
Yeah, that's right. I'm with you there. Do want to remind you that the podcast is proudly brought to you by Dandy Donuts in Hollywood. Frank and Laura, listen, I've been talking about Dandy Donuts for 10 plus years. Now, they've been a sponsor of ours for a couple of years. And Frank and Laura and Bobby and all the great people out there, 102 North 28th Avenue, folks, the Dandy Donut Factory. Remember, only Hollywood. That's the only one I can vouch for. They're the ones that have been true sponsors. They are the ones that I know use quality from beginning to end. Instagram, Dandy_Hollywood. Twitter, Dandy Hollywood. Go to the website. You're going to get hungry at dandyhollywood.com. Bring the kids. They are going to love the donuts. All kinds of great donuts. Real boxes, because you can't use those flimsy little boxes because those donuts are big and delicious. And whether it's croissants, French rolls, biscuits, they all bake it there. They can make you a great lunch, a great breakfast. They've got TVs there. So please get on down there. If you've never been there, I've been telling you about Dandy Donuts in Hollywood, right off of Hollywood Boulevard and 995, 3 blocks east. Okay, it's on the north side right next to Miami Subs. Tell Frank, Laura, Bobby, all the great people out there that Big O sent you. And trust me, they're going to take care of you at Dandy Donuts in Hollywood only.
That cronut, man.
Yeah, the cronut's amazing. Yes, it is really, really good. Really, really good. Okay. One guy says, I've had more fun this year than I've had in a long time watching these NFL games, rooting for those bad teams to win so the Finns can get the #1 pick. There we go. That's the attitude to have, man. Spin it. Don't let people bring you down. This is a great time for Dolphin fans because there's actually a plan in place. There's actually a method behind the madness. Think about it. Every year we had these idiots telling us they're going to be great, they're going to go to the playoffs, and they never did anything. Okay? Now you've got a GM and an owner that told you, yo, we're tearing this bitch down, and it's going to be rough. It's exactly what's going on. So, relax. Much better place. And the texts keep coming in for the T-shirts. And we do want to remind you, before we let you go, that if you want to win our brand new beautiful T-shirts, which we're mailing out tomorrow, there you go. We're going to pick the winners. We're going to pick several winners, okay? And if you win a shirt, wear it and put it on social media. Show it off. Show it off. Look how cool it is. And the material is also. Did you notice how soft? It's not like that stale-ass cotton. It's that breathable cotton that's really, really nice. So if you want to win one of them, the only way you can have a chance at winning them is by texting at 786-322-1105, the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. Send your full name, address, and shirt size. So that way, if we pick you, okay, and I think we have small to XXL, actually. Okay, I think we got a couple of XXLs. I have to look in the box. Well, no, I don't hear you.
Busted out with the XXX?
Yes, because we had some listeners that were, hey, can you get XXL? So we kind of went back to the guys and said, hey, can you sneak in a couple of XXLs? So we'll try to see if any of the winners happen to be Triple XL, you will get one. Okay?
Notice the 300B on the sleeve, man.
Yeah, that's right.
That looks very cool.
That's right. Our marketing arm here at the Big O Radio Show is 300Bs, and Chris and Carlos are just absolutely phenomenal. And let me tell you something. If your business needs a marketing arm to help out with social media, website, all of that, search engines, so you end up at the top of the search engines, these guys at 300Bs are amazing. Okay? All right? You guys know I don't team up with weak. I team up with strong. That's what it's all about. All right, we thank everybody that sent in a text. And remember, whenever you're listening to the podcast in the middle of the night, in the morning, anytime, send us a text on the accidentlawfirm.com text line at 786-322-1105 on behalf of Los, as always, doing great work. Bill, exceptional work by you, sir. Grinding, as always. We thank all of you for supporting us and downloading the podcast every single day, and the segments and all of that. The download numbers are absolutely sick. And so we really, really, we are blessed. Thank you, because you're going to help us grow and support our great sponsors, because without the sponsors, we cannot make this happen. And we appreciate those of you that are already supporting our sponsors. Thank you so much. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow again, same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the big